The Fairly Old Players welcome you to today's performance. We will perform two short comedies and a drama. The entire program runs about 30 minutes. So sit back and enjoy the show.
Birthdays. When a man has a birthday, he takes a day off. But when a woman has a birthday, she takes a year off.
A quote from Oscar Wilde. Men marry because they are tired. Women because they are curious. Both are disappointed. Oh, what a night!
What are you talking about, George?
I'm talking about the dream I had last night.
And?
Well, it seems I just won the lottery.
Wow! How much, George?
Well, I was just counting, and when I woke up, and boy, was I disappointed.
George, how could you be disappointed waking up again at your age? Why, you should be happy. Just think you have another day to pick on me.
Oh, come on, darling. This could be a sign.
A sign of what, dear? Maybe a sign that you're getting older.
No, think about it, Allison. I won the lottery in my dream.
Well, do you remember the numbers?
Well, a matter of fact, I do.
Oh, yippee, we're gonna be rich. Now, what are they so that I can write them down?
Let me think about this now. It was 6, 7, 49, 4, 22, 50, and the lucky bonus number was, shoot, I don't remember.
Oh, well, George, so far you have your birthday numbers. And why are you giving away my age by having my birthday numbers displayed to the whole world?
Would you care, Allison, if it meant us winning? And besides, I forgot the bonus number.
I tell you what, you remember the bonus number, and I will let you display my birthday to the whole world.
That's a deal. Now, let's get up and rush to the local store and play, baby. Why, we're gonna be rich. Move over, bill rates.
You forgot one thing, dear.
What is that, baby?
That bonus number.
I'm working on it. Maybe it was 30.
Why do you think that, George?
Well, remember now, sweetheart, we have had 30 years of marriage.
Yeah, but does it matter if it were 30 years of a bad marriage or maybe 5 years of a good marriage? Which means it is either bonus number 5 or 30.
Yeah, sounds like I need to do some thinking.
Well, think hard, dear, for I will be beating you over the head if you say the number 5.
Hey, sweetheart, don't take it so serious.
Oh, get the door, George. Some nut is knocking on our door, and it's only 6 o'clock in the morning.
Okay, dear. Now remember, don't tell anyone our secret numbers. Oh, come in, Betty. What brings you here so early?
Oh, George, I can hardly talk.
Why not? Nothing's ever stopped you from talking.
I won.
Oh, what did you win?
Well, I just won the big one.
You mean to tell me you just won the state lottery?
Yeah, I did, but I can't find my lottery ticket.
Well, I had a dream last night, and Allison and I won the lottery.
Sorry to hear that.
Why are you so sorry?
Because yours was just a dream, and mine was real.
Well, what were your winning numbers, Betty?
Well, they were 6, 7, 49, 4, 22, and 50. They were written down on a piece of paper in my car. I thought Jesse wrote them down for me.
Hey, wait a minute. What was the bonus number?
Don't answer that, Betty.
Why? It was 5.
I don't believe you, George. How could you tell the world that we had 25 years of misery? And how did Betty get your numbers?
Your numbers?
Yeah, now I remember. On our way to work yesterday, Betty, I wrote those numbers down and left them in your car.
Oh, shoot.
I hate to inform you, Betty, but nobody played those numbers.
And here, I thought I was a winner, the big winner. I was going to surprise Jesse.
Well, if you don't say a word, he'll never know that you lost all that money.
Yeah, you're right. Hey, I'm going back home and crawl back into bed.
Hey, that's a good idea. Bye now.
Bye, guys. And remember, Mom's the word.
Okay, your secret is safe with us.
Oh, George, we came so close to winning.
Yeah, we did. But look at the bright side. Betty would have been the winner and not us.
Now, I want you to go back to bed and have another dream again on winning.
Anything for you, sweetheart.
And remember, dear, that bonus number is 30.
Anything you say, sweetheart. And always remember, I love you.
Good, because I would love you more if we win. Now, good night, my love.
Good night, sweetheart. Okay. $27, $28, $29.
Opera. When a guy gets stabbed in the back, instead of bleeding, he sings. By Robert Benchley.
As the evangelist Billy Sunday said, going to church doesn't make you a Christian any more than going to a garage makes you an automobile.
Another quote from Oscar Wilde. I am not in favor of long engagements. They give people the opportunity of finding out about each other's character before marriage, which I think is never advisable.
Letters of a Woman Homesteader. The writer of these letters is a young woman who lost her husband in a railroad accident and went to Denver to find work to support herself and her 2-year-old daughter, Jareen. She found work as a house cleaner and laundress. Later, seeking to better herself, she accepted employment as a housekeeper for a well-to-do Scottish cattleman, Mr. Clyde Stewart, in Wyoming. The letters, written through several years to a former employer in Denver, Mrs. Coney, tell the story of her new life in the new country.
The arrival at Burnt Fork. Dear Mrs. Coney, are you thinking I am lost like the babes in the wood? Well, I'm not. I am way up close to the Forest Reserve of Utah, 60 miles from the railroad. I was 24 hours on the train and 2 days on the stage. And oh, those 2 days. The snow was just beginning to melt, and the mud was about the worst I ever saw. The first stage we tackled was about as rickety as it could very well be, and I had to sit with the driver, who was a Mormon and so handsome. But, of course, as I had no chaperone, I looked very fierce and told him my actual opinion of Mormons in general and particular. At last we arrived, and everything is just lovely for me. I have a very, very comfortable situation. And Mr. Stewart is absolutely no trouble, for as soon as he has his meals, he retires to his room and plays on his bagpipe. Only he calls it his bug peep. It is "The Campbells are coming," without variations, at intervals all day long, and from 7 to 11 at night. Sometimes I wish they would just make haste and get here. I have not filed on my land because the snow is 15 feet deep on it, and I think I would rather see what I'm getting, so we'll wait until summer. They have just 3 seasons here, winter and July and August. We are to plant our garden the last of May. I will send you my sincerest love and quit tiring you. Please write when you have time. Sincerely yours, Eleanor Rupert.
Filing a claim. Dear Mrs. Coney, while I have filed on my land, I am now a bloated landowner. As I wanted land for a ranch, I decided to stay in the valley. So I have filed adjoining Mr. Stewart, and I am very well pleased. A small stream runs right through the center of my land. I am quite near the woods. When we want anything, we send by mail carrier for it, only there is nothing to get. Well, I must quit writing before you find me a nuisance. With lots of love to you. Your sincere friend, Eleanor Rupert.
A busy, happy summer. Dear Mrs. Coney, this has been the busiest, happiest summer I can remember. I've worked very hard, but it's been work that I really enjoy. I've done most of my cooking at night, have milked 7 cows every day, and done all the hay cutting. So you see, I have been working. But I have found time to put up 30 pints of jelly and the same amount of jam for myself. After working so hard and so steadily, I decided on a day off. So yesterday I saddled the pony and Jereen and I fared forth. What a glorious day we had. We caught 8 trout and had a feast. We came home into the glory of a beautiful sunset with its gorgeous colors, then down into the little valley. Mr. Stewart is going to build my house for me and pay for my extra work. Oh, please don't entirely forget me. Your letters mean so much to me, and I will try to answer more promptly. Sincerely yours, Eleanor Rupert.
A confession. Dear Mrs. Coney, I find upon rereading your letter that I didn't answer it at all. When I wrote you, you must think me very indifferent, but I really don't mean to be. My house joins unto Mr. Stewart's house. It was built that way so that I could hold down my land and a job at the same time. I see the wisdom of it now, though at first I did not want it that way. My boundary lines run within 2 feet of Mr. Stewart's house, so it was quite easy to build on. I have not treated you quite frankly about something you had a right to know about. I am ashamed, and I regret very much that I have not told you. I will never tell you unless you promise me beforehand to forgive me. Won't you make it easy to fess up so that I may be happy again? Truly your friend, Eleanor Rupert. June 16, 1910. I wrote you some time ago, and I had a confession to make. I am suffering just now from eye strain and can't see to write long at a time. But I reckon I had better confess and get it done with. The thing I have done is to marry Mr. Clyde Stewart. It was such an inconsistent thing to do that I was ashamed to tell you. I hope my eyes will be better soon, and then I will write you a long letter. Your old friend with the new name, Eleanor Stewart.
Proving up. Dear Mrs. Coney, I think you must be expecting an answer to your letter by now, so I will try to answer as many of your questions as I remember. First, no, I shall not lose my land, although it will be over 2 years before I can get a deed to it. The 5 years in which I am required to prove up will have passed by then. Sometimes I wonder how I'm going to do it, but I know I shall succeed. Other women have succeeded. I know of several who have and are now where they can laugh at past trials. Jareen prayed for a long time for a brother. Also, she prayed for some puppies. One morning, she saw the puppies following their mother, so she danced for joy. When her little brother came, she was plainly disappointed. "Mama," she said, "did God really make the baby? He hasn't treated us fairly. The puppies could walk when he finished them. What is the use of giving us a half-finished baby? He has no hair and no teeth. He can't walk or talk, nor do anything else but squall and sleep." After many days, she got the question settled. "I know, Mama, why God gave us a half-finished baby. So he could learn our ways and no one else's, since he must live with us, and so we could learn to love him." I hope to hear from you soon and that you are enjoying every minute. With much love, your friend, Eleanor Stewart.
The Joys of Homesteading. Dear Mrs. Coney, I am afraid all my friends think I'm very forgetful and that you think I'm ungrateful as well. But I am going to plead not guilty. Right after Christmas, Mr. Clyde Stewart came down with La Grippe and was so miserable that it kept me busy trying to relieve him. That explains my long silence. When I read of the hard times among the Denver poor, I feel like urging everyone to get out and foul on land. For me, homesteading is the solution of all poverty's problems. Any woman who can stand her own company, loves growing things, and is willing to put in as much time at careful labor as she does over the wash tub will certainly succeed. She will have independence, plenty to eat all the time, and a home of her own in the end. Well, I must stop right now before you get so tired you will not answer. With much love to you from Jareen and myself, I am yours affectionately, Eleanor Rupert Stewart.
A letter of Jareen's. Dear Mrs. Coney, I think you will excuse my mama for not writing to thank you for Black Beauty when I tell you why. I wanted to thank you myself. Mama always said horses do not talk, but now she knows they do since she read the dear little book. I have known it a long time. My own pony told me the story is very true. Our Clyde is still away. We were going to visit Stella. Mama was driving. The horses ran away. Mama hanged onto the lines. If she let go, we may all be killed. At last, she ran them into a fence. They stopped. A man ran to help, so we are well. But Mama's hands and arms are still so sore she can't write you yet. My brother Calvin is very sweet. I thank you for my good little book, and I love you for it too. Jareen Rupert.
Success. Dear Mrs. Coney, this is Sunday, and I suppose I ought not to be writing, but I must write to you, and I may not have another chance soon. Perhaps this letter will not interest you, but if you see a woman who wants to homestead and is a little afraid that she will starve, you can tell her what I'm telling you. This year, I set out to prove that a woman could ranch if she wanted to. We like to grow potatoes on new ground, that is, newly cleared land on which no crop has been growing. So I then selected my potato patch, and the man plowed it, although I could have done that if Clyde would have let me. I cut the potatoes, Jareen helped, and we dropped them in the rows. The man covered them, and that ends the man's part. I planted almost an acre in vegetables. I irrigated and cultivated it myself. We had all the vegetables we could possibly use, and now Jareen and I have put in our cellar full. This is what we have: 1 large bin of potatoes, more than 2 tons, half a ton of carrots, a large bin of beets, 1 of turnips, 1 of onions, 1 of parsnips. On the other side of the cellar, we have more than 100 heads of cabbage. I also raised beans and lots of green tomatoes. Gooseberries were very fine and very plentiful this year, so I put up a great many. I milk the cows twice a day all summer, have sold enough butter to pay for a year's supply of flour and gasoline. I have raised enough chickens to completely renew my flock and all we wanted to eat. I have enough turkeys for all of our birthdays and holidays. In all, I have had no help but Jareen. Clyde's mother spends each summer with us, and she helped with the cooking and the babies. I know many town people doubt my doing so much, but I did it. I have tried every kind of work this ranch affords, and I can do any of it. Of course, I am extra strong, and those who try know that strength and knowledge come from doing. I just love to experiment, to work, and to prove out things, so that ranch life and roughing it just suits me fine. Nineteenth century advice. Her exalted rank did not give Queen Victoria immunity from the trials of a grandmother. One of her grandsons, whose recklessness in spending money provoked her strong disapproval, wrote to the Queen reminding her of his approaching birthday and delicately suggesting that money would be the most acceptable gift. In her own hand, she answered, sternly reproving the youth for the sin of extravagance and urging upon him the practice of economy. His reply staggered her. Dear grandmother, it ran, thank you for your kind letter of advice. I have sold the same for £5.
Clergy. On one occasion, the minister gave a sermon of but 10 minutes of duration, a most unusual thing for him. Upon the conclusion of his remarks, the minister added, I regret to inform you, brethren, that my dog, who is unusually fond of paper, ate that portion of my sermon of which I have not yet delivered. Let us pray. At the conclusion of the service, the clergyman was met at the door by a man who, as a rule, attended the divine service of another parish. Shaking the good man by his hand, he added, Reverend, I should like to know whether that dog of yours has any pups. If so, I would like to get one and give to my minister.
Mrs. Fractures, I am pleased to inform you that your x-rays have come out negative, and any additional ailments that you have in the near future should only be attributed to old age. Trust me, you should be fine in a day or two.
Thank you, doctor. I knew there was nothing wrong with me. The only reason I came to see you in the first place was my overly concerned husband, as you well know. I think you've treated him for the same headache for at least 5 times in the last month or so.
Well, now, Maxine, your husband should be thankful that you came to see me on such short notice and that there's nothing wrong with you.
Doctor, thanks for working me in today. I really don't think I could have listened to him for another minute, hounding me to come see you and get checked out.
Oh, be careful on your way home, Maxine, because it's getting a little late. Now, I would like to see you for a follow-up appointment in 2 weeks. My receptionist will set that up for you on your way out.
How much extra is that going to cost me, doctor? You know I'm on that pay a little at a time medical plan, and I can't afford a new huge bill from you.
Oh, there's nothing to worry about, Maxine. But you know that I only take cash, no credit cards, checks, debit cards, PayPal, or anything else that is electronic. Maxine worries about anything and everything concerning money. Cash is the best way to go with her. She always has lots of it stashed away in her purse. Oh, see you in a couple of weeks. Bye. Miss Manners, I'm ready for my next patient, please.
There are no more patients in the waiting room, Dr. Rich.
Well, it's almost 9 o'clock, so I hardly think there will be any more tonight. Sit down for a moment while I go over these records with you, Miss Manners.
Certainly, Doctor.
Find Mrs. Mortimer Montgomery's card.
Here it is.
Good. Now, what did I put down for her appendicitis operation?
$1,500.
So I thought. Add 200 more and call it consultations.
Very well, Dr. Rich.
Now, about Miss Lotta Twitters, do you have her card?
Here it is.
Put down 5 treatments, 250, consultations, 100. Got it?
Yes, Dr. Rich. That's why they call her Dr. Rich. Anything else, Doctor?
Not that I can think of right now. We'd better close up the office and call it a day.
Oh, dear. There's someone now. Wouldn't you think they'd have enough sense to know you want a little rest?
Miss Manners, you have been with me long enough to know that a doctor works hard for every cent she makes. See who it is and what he wants.
Very well, Doctor.
Oh, I must tell you, I must see the doctor right away. It's a matter of life and death.
It usually is. Here's the doctor.
Oh, you may go home if you wish, Miss Manners. I'll take care of this.
Thank you, Doctor. Good night.
Good night.
Doc, I'm in a terrible state. I jumped into my flivver and I got down here into town just as fast as I could. Gosh, I'm nearly all in.
What seems to be the matter? Where do you have the pain?
Oh, it ain't me that's sick. Polly's the one. Didn't seem well all day. Hardly a sound out of her. And just a little while over, she just keeled right over. Yes, sir, just keeled right over.
Collapsed, eh? Well, how was she when you left?
Breathing her a little easier, I think she was. But I says to myself, Hank, I says, you ride into town and find a doctor. And don't you waste no time. You can't never tell when things like this take a turn for the worse. And I don't want to lose her, no, sir.
Been married long?
Going on 30 years. Hey, Doc, Say you'll come on out right with me, won't you? I want you to fix her up. Got my car waiting outside.
Well, if you say she was breathing a little easier, then maybe it's not necessary that I...
Well, she was when I left. Well, she may be dying by now, Doc. You got to come with me.
Well, very well. I'll go with you. You understand there is an extra charge for evening calls.
Anything you say, Doc. Only you got to come with me.
Well, now, before I go, I really should know a little bit more, have an idea about her condition. You say she collapsed suddenly? Now, any number of things might have caused that. Perhaps she was dizzy. Have you had her eyes checked lately?
Her eyes? Gosh, no, Doc. I ain't had her eyes looked at. Why would I want to do a thing like that?
Well, she might need glasses.
Glasses? Her? Why, Doc?
You appear to be prejudiced against modern science. I'm afraid I can do little for you.
Oh, Doc, don't mind me. Look, I gotta have your help.
Then again, she may have collapsed because of bad tonsils. Have you had her tonsils out?
Have I had her tonsils out? By cracky, as far as I know, she ain't even got tonsils.
I don't believe such ignorance could exist. Perhaps it's her teeth. Does she go to the dentist twice a year?
Gosh, no, Doc. Ain't nothing the matter with her teeth.
Well, how about her appendix? Has she ever complained of a pain in her side?
She ain't had no pains that I know of. She always eats plenty, all day long. She eats and eats and eats.
Acute indigestion, no doubt. Well, I'll soon fix that. Now, anything else you can tell me about her condition that might help? Did you take her temperature, feel her pulse?
Heck no, Doc. She'd kick the living daylights out of me if I tried that.
Kick you? Did I understand you to say that your wife would kick you?
My wife? Say, you're a veterinary doctor, ain't you?
A veterinary? I should say not.
Suffering cats!
But you said your wife needs me, so
My wife? Jumping Jupiter, Doc. My wife ain't sick. I'm talking about my cow.
We hope you enjoy our efforts. We plan to have more performances in the future. Contact us at VicksburgTheatreGuild.com.